What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today is Wednesday, which of course means it's time for another Western New York Wednesday here on the channel. And today I'm actually doing a comparison review, this time of two beers from the Fifth Frame Brewing Company, and they're out of Irondequoit, New York, and I have their Lucerna Blanc and their Lucerna Rouge. So the Blanc variant is a white wine barrel-aged Czech-style Pilsner that comes in at 5% alcohol by volume and no IBUs listed, while the Rouge variant is a red wine barrel-aged Czech-style Pilsner that also comes in at 5% alcohol by volume and no IBUs listed. And at the time of review, both of these beers are just under 6 months old. So it's been about a year and a half since I reviewed something from Fifth Frame on the channel. And the reason for that is over the last year to year and a half, Fifth Frame has actually moved from, I think it was St. Paul Street in Rochester, New York, up to Irondequoit, New York on the shores of Lake Ontario. And here in Buffalo, New York, we didn't see distro for a little bit while that was happening. And recently we started seeing more of their stuff. So I went to one of my local bottle shops and I saw both of these beers. I'd be like, you know what? It would make for a great comparison review. Two wine barrel aged Czech-style Pilsners, one in a white wine barrel, one in a red. Let's do with the comparison. They did not have the base Lucerna, but I do know they have the base Czech-style Pilsner as well. That would have been fun to do all three, but as is, we're gonna make do with these two. So I can't say I've had many red wine barrel aged beers. Well, we got a little bit of a gusher. Now this was in my fridge the entire time, so let me get the paper towels, the trusty paper towels I have back here. Always keep them on hand for obvious reasons, this being one of them. So when you get into a red wine barrel and whatnot, you never know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna try to pour this. We're gonna see. I'd imagine the other one's gonna gush. Good times. All right, so do something like that. And as you can see, it's all foam. All right, we'll crack open the other one and do the same to that as well. Let's see if this explodes. And this one did not, just the white wine. That's wild. It's coming out a little bit. No, not really. All right, so we'll try to do a proper, move this over here out of the way for now. Try to do a proper pour here of this. And as I spill it down the side, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, what an awesome review so far. So we have one gush, one terrible pour, and here we are. So I'm gonna leave that much in the can, because we're gonna do at the end, do a cuvee, which has to be done when you have beers like this. If you don't do a cuvee, what are you doing with your life? You know what I mean? I don't know how I'm going to handle these two beers over here at all in terms of pretty much anything, because that head is not going anywhere at all. Like, it's not going anywhere at all, not even a little bit. So I'm going to do my best to try and get my nose into there, but I'm telling you right now, it's probably not going to work out that well. So might just have to go for the taste before we do anything else in terms of the, the nose. But we'll see. One more little wipe down. This is where if I edited my videos, I could just edit forward. Instead, you got to sit here and suffer with 25 paper towels from Bounty, because that's how we roll here, baby. All right, so how do these look? Well, they look pretty much similar, but it's tough to see because, all right, so let's try to swirl up ahead on this one if we can. Don't need to swirl up ahead. So how do these look in the glass? They do look very similar. They do. On camera, they look very similar outside of the 75 finger head. So there's that, of course. But yeah, they both have this. If we'll go with this one first because they both look very simple. Very similar. You can't really see. So, typically with the Pilsner, it'd be crystal clear. This has the haze being in the different barrels. It has about a finger of like an eggshell white, super creamy looking head though. You could say soap sudsy, but for me, it looks very creamy in the glass. It has this beautiful honey orange color. Kind of looks like an old school hazy IPA, as I like to say, old school New England, like Vermont styles. It has that haziness to it, but it looks really nice. The Blanc, on the other hand, if you look at the just the head, it looks very soap sudsy because it poured out like that. And the clarity is about the same though, maybe a little bit more clear, but outside of the head being huge because it gushed, I can't really tell you anything different in terms of the look. Maybe the Rouge slightly darker, but I think that's kind of expected based on the style. So let's get a nose on the Blanc. Look, as I swirl this up, look at that, head's not going anywhere. Like the head's literally not moving. Is that insane? Like what the, come on. Ooh, oh. So I don't know how long they put these in the barrel, but this is white wine personified. Yeah, this smells wine barreled. Like, not, there's no question. You don't have to sit here and be like, oh, they put it in the barrel for 4 weeks or whatever. You can bear it. No, either these were super fresh barrels or they were in there for a while. Smells like white wine. Has that white wine kind of zestiness, with the white grapes, a little bit of spices, even a little bit of vanilla and oak. If I'm being honest, and I always am with my reviews, this does not smell like a Pilsner whatsoever. It just smells like it smells like so many white wine barrel-aged sours or wild ales I've had in the past. It has a perceived like tart / sour, almost acidic kind of nose to it, like almost vinegar, like a in this case like a white wine vinegar, or just like a white vinegar. But that vanilla and oak is really nice, along with the spirit itself. This does not smell anything like a Pilsner. Let's see if the Rouge does. Wow, this is a tale of two different beers. This is way more nuanced, this Rouge, and kind of more what I thought these beers were going to be. It has more of like a subtle red wine kind of character. This has more of like that grainy, kind of crackery malt character. A little bit of a floral sensation. And then like it's accentuated by the red wine. Has like a sweeter kind of red wine kind of nose. A little bit of that vanilla oak I got in the white wine, but like half the amount. My preference already is to this because this just seems like the base is being dominated by the white wine, where this is accentuating the base and kind of working in tandem to make some kind of cohesive red wine barrel-aged Pilsner. Yeah, so without question, this smells more in my wheelhouse. This smells more like if somebody just wanted to take down a ridiculous white wine barrel-aged beer. Try to pour a little bit more here as I don't know what it is today, but most days I can't pour, but like something's going on over here. Maybe it's because of the lip of the can. I'm trying to pour it sideways, whatever. But that just looks fluffy now. Look at it going over top. Like you got the fluff on the top. But yeah, anyway, I'm not going to sit here and BS anymore. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. See if I can actually get a sip of the base beer, which is half the glass at this point. Hey now. That's pretty fucking tasty. Wow, I did not expect that. The only reason I didn't expect this is because the nose. The nose was like, again, a white wine barrel-aged wild ale, sour. It just had such a big white wine presence, big barrel presence, and it had the characteristics you expect from a wild or sour ale. The taste, it's not as big. This is a very dry beer. All right, we'll properly review it, but let's go body mouthfeel first. So 5%, this is like higher side of light, lower side of medium. It's fine. I will say, and I don't know, you can't really see too much, but there isn't a ton of carbonation here. This is mildly carbonated. I don't know if it's because of the explosion, the gushing. I don't know if it was already, I don't know if it's can conditioned. I don't know what the case may be, but it has a mild carbonation. It's not flat, but it's leaning towards the flat side of things for sure, almost like you have a wine. There's a very big smoothness. It's somewhat creamy. It's actually quite nice, the mouthfeel, but I don't know if it necessarily works for what is supposed to be a Pilsner that usually has pretty good carbonation. The taste, this is, dare I say, crushable despite the complexity. So there's an omnipresent white wine barrel character. On the sides of my tongue, I'm getting a lot of, a decent amount of like a vanilla, even like a little bit of coconut. I know it sounds weird. Sometimes I get that in barrel-aged beers, but it has like this vanilla, slight coconut tinge, definitely an oakiness to it. The tip of the tongue, this definitely has a little bit of that like grainy, crackery malt character, passes through. There's nice, lighter, whiter fruits to this one, like a pear and apple, something I would get more in like a Saison or a farmhouse ale. There is a little bit of like citrus, like more of a like lemon, orange. And then towards the finish, the white wine comes out. It has this is bone dry. It has your typical, I would say, dry white wine finish. So it has a drying white wine, a little bit of that white grape. There's a touch of a spiciness too. I would say like a white pepper. Some kind of pepper note. Yeah, it's bone dry. So this does not lean sweet whatsoever. It leans dry. There's a mild to moderate bitterness, more to the mild side of things. This is way better than I expected after I smelled it. After the gushing, then smelling it, I'm like, what happened here? It's still really good. It doesn't piss me off that it gushed everywhere. It does. Am I enjoying the drinking this? I am. All right, so really nice. 5%, you can't tell. Although I will say, because it's barrel aged, I might mistake this one for being, say, 7-8% just because of the barrel presence. But it doesn't, like, I don't have any real warming in my chest or anything on the palate just because I know it's wine barrel aged. It has one of those characteristics on the palate that I'd be like, okay, maybe this is like 7.5%. That's good. We'll come back to rate it. All right, now we're going to get into the Rouge. Cheers, everyone. See, this is weird. This is more subtle than nuanced, even from the nose. Body and carbonation are better, probably because it wasn't a gusher. Body in this is more approaching medium as opposed to like lower side of medium into high light. The mouthfeel has a crispness to it. It's approaching moderate carbonation. Still a little bit undercarb, I think, stylistically, but definitely better carbonated than that. Has a smoothness to it, no real creaminess to it. So body is better here. Mouthfeel is better, but I do like the smooth creaminess of this one. It's just not appropriate for the style. The taste, this one's a little bit lacking in complexity. It's not bad whatsoever. It's actually pretty good. It's just, I don't know, for a red wine barrel-aged Czech-style Pilsner, I was expecting a bit more. But based on the nose, I guess I shouldn't have. So right up front, this one has more Czech-style Pilsner vibes to it. Crackery malt, a little bit of breadiness, dives underneath the palate. Then I get a little bit of that citrus I was getting in that beer. More of like again, a lemon, maybe even like a little bit of lemongrass, something in that realm. Passes through the white pear, the red apple, the things I talk about. There's a little bit, this one had more of that like funk in general. This has a little bit more of that sulfuric lager kind of vibe to it. And then the finish has a, I would say it's a dry finish, firmly dry finish, not bone dry. And it has a little bit of like a drier red wine finish. And the red wine is producing a bit of an oaky, kind of oak tannin characteristic, a little bit of like a red grape, touch of sweetness from the grape. But this is better in a lot of ways, but I don't enjoy it as much as this beer. Does that make any sense? Like, I feel this is better stylistically. It's the red wine barrel accentuating the base beer. The base beer is still here and present. The body and mouthfeel are more in line with what you expect from the style. And the red wine is just producing some of the notes and nuances and subtleties on the palate, as opposed to this one that's kind of dominating from the white wine. But I think I prefer this one. If I was drinking one beer, I prefer this. If I was drinking a couple of them, I probably prefer this one. So it's going to be tough to rate these because I don't really know what I'm going to do other than probably rate them to style and then rate them to personal preference. Again, this is more balanced. It's not super dry. Has a nice sweetness at the forefront. This one has a little bit of like a red wine kind of vinegar kind of feel to it too, because it is red wine, but it just has that little touch of like vinegary-esque kind of feel, like, again, almost like a sour. My preference as we speak would be, I think this wins by a smidge. I think the best way to sum it up, stylistically, the Rouge gets it. Personal preference, the Blanc gets it. All right, so ratings. So I'm going to give the Lucerna here. I am going to give the Lucerna Blanc from Fifth Frame. Well, again, both of them 5%. You really can't tell. I'm going to give this a. I'm going to go 4.1. I'll go high 4 out of 5. I'll go 4.1. I think this one is pretty damn good, and I think that is a fair score for what I'm drinking here. So 4.1. And yeah, I'm fine with that. And then I'm going to give the Rouge, I'm going to give a give it a 4.05. So I'm going to go 0.05 lower. And that is, again, personal preference for me, okay? So that is personal preference that I'm giving this beer that score. Personal preference, keep that in mind. Stylistically, I think the Rouge, I would go like 4.2 to 4.25. I think it's way better. And the white wine barrel aged one, the Blanc, I would give like a high 3.75, go like 3.8, 3.9. I think this is a substantially better beer from the aspect of the style. Personal preference, though, I got to give it to the Blanc because it's more fun. It's more tasty. It's more bombastic. It's more boisterous, intense on the palate. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. So we are going to do the cuvee next. So I have this old other half beer glass here. I'm going to try to drink this down to this. I was going to leave them in the can, but let me just take this down. All right, I think we're good. I think we're pretty good. So I'm going to pour the white wine in here. Got that going. And then I'm going to do the red wine, and then we'll mix it up and do a cuvee. Because you got to do the cuvées. And when you do the cuvées, you got to cleanse the palate, baby. You got to cleanse the palate because there's no other way to do it. Also, price point availability. Price point, I paid just under $5 a can for each of them. That is pricey. I don't know if they come in 4 or 6 packs. I just saw them. Couldn't find any information on their website or Instagram. So you're talking, under $5 a can, like $4.55. Is that pricey? Sure, but they're wine barrel aged Czech-style Pilsners. I'm okay to pay that once a try. I don't know if I'd rebuy that for that price point, but it is fun to try. Availability is Fifth Frame, typically Western New York. But like I said, they are now up on the Lakeshore waters. So their new tap room. So I don't know how often we'll see distro here in Buffalo, if it'll go back to full force, but we'll see. So how does this one look? Well, it kind of has that same color that the rest does. Really smooth and creamy looking head. Some good glass lacing. It's good nose. Ooh, that smells fun. It smells more funky now. Yeah, it has both of the wine barrels and then just like with a funkiness. Again, it smells almost like a farmhouse or Saison, something like that, grisette. A little bit of that peppery kind of almost coriander. Yeah, it smells interesting. Let's get into it. Definitely the vanilla too from the oak. Cheers, everyone. One more sip. I don't like it. Clashes too much. They're using the same base beer, but with the different wine barrels. What's happening is it's getting a little bit too much of the wine barrel. Not enough of the base. It's almost turning into like a farmhouse or a Saison, which is fine if that's what you're looking for, but these are a Pilsner. So I give this like a 3.5. Definitely substantially worse than each of them. I'll drink the last 3 or 4 ounces of that, but I like them much better on their own. So again, a recap. The Blanc gets a 4.1 out of 5 from my own personal preference, and then I give it like a 3.9, we'll say. Or no, sorry, 3.9. 3.8 stylistically because I think the barrel dominates and the base beer gets lost. The Rouge gets a 4.05 personally, and then like a 4.2, I'd say, as far as stylistically it goes, maybe a 4.25, but definitely like a quarter point rating better than the Blanc from a style standpoint, but just slightly worse than the Blanc overall. So this was a lot of fun, despite the one beer gushing and me not knowing how to pour beer, but if you follow the Beer Patrol, you know, these cans with the higher lips, I always duff it, and I still haven't figured it out. Rain or Parade, you can yell at me, whatever, cool. I suck at pouring beer. What do you want from me? It's not like I've reviewed over 2,500 beers. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, if you've had either of these beers before, post in the comment section, let me know. If not, what is your favorite Czech-style Pilsner? Have you ever had a barrel-aged Czech-style Pilsner, let alone a wine barrel-aged Czech-style Pilsner? Let me know. This was fun to do. I don't do these often, but I figured these are both 5%. I could drink both of them, and it was fun to do. But yeah, anyway, appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. If you've had either of these beers, please post in the comment section. Appreciate it. To the next one. Cheers. Check back next Wednesday for another Western New York Wednesday, where I'll be reviewing a beer from the Western New York area, most likely. Cheers.